So the most obvious outcome in all of Canadian politics in literally the past half decade or so ended up coming to fruition about an hour after I posted yesterday's update on everything. But the Emergencies Acts, yes, passed through the House of Commons because the NDP said that they were going to support the Liberals, and the Liberals said that, yeah, of course, we're just going to be voting all along party lines. They have the support that they need from the NDP, and what the fuck else was expected on this one? So it's supposed to be going to the Senate, and I think when we did the review on the Emergencies Act proper, they have 48 hours or something to hear it, and I don't expect them to really knock it down. But there is, of course, a glimmer of hope, but we're not going to play with any of these hyperbolic situations or anything like that, because, yeah, okay, the Senate, last time that they were relevant, they struck down the internet censorship bill, but this is big serious, guys, so Trudeau needs all of his powers to, I don't know, squash any opposition or anything, because they know everything. So let's give you a little bit of background on this, and yeah, just show you what's going on in the first day of the reign of Chancellor Trudeau. Voting along party lines, a majority of MPs in the House of Commons voted on February 21st to approve the extraordinary and temporary, sure they're temporary, right? 15 days to flatten the curve, temporary states of emergencies for the coof that always seem to be miraculously reaffirmed and renewed month after month, or 6 months after 6 months, or the fact that there was only supposed to be a temporary suspension on a federal budget, which has now gone on for 2 fucking years. So the federal government, by the way, in case you haven't been noticing, has unlimited finances at their available, or sorry, at their ready, available to them. I'm not quite as upset as other people in Canada are. Maybe I don't fully quite comprehend the totality of the situation, or maybe I'm not quite as cynical as thinking that this is going to be the end of days. It's just fun to call him, you know, the Führer in training. He's the Chancellor right now. So I'm pretty sure that was Hitler's position in 1933 when he enacted the Reichstag fire, but we'll elevate the conversation depending on how far this goes. But as of right now, until it gets passed through the Senate, which you'd imagine it's going to get rubber stamped, most of the time the Senate does that. So he's going to theoretically have these powers for 30 days, but he could also have them extended in perpetuity if he just continues to pass it through the House every 30 days or so in order to quash any future insurrections that might be out there, which of course he'll always just get carte blanche from, because the Liberals have the support of the NDP. They passed a motion for confirmation of the declaration of emergency, even though the streets are fucking clean. Okay, that there's nothing going on in Ottawa anymore. The little protests that happened on the weekend, oh, they're nice. Look at those people out there voicing their free speech, and then they just go home at the end of the day, so nobody has to pay attention to anything that they're doing. Or you can just make a grandstanding motion, like Pierre Polly Pocket, or whatever his fucking name is. That little lump of shit. All of those fucking feckless conservatives that are in the House there. Oh, we're gonna vote against this, eh? We're just gonna really show that we're here for the working class. Are you fucking really? You didn't do fuck all. You didn't meet with the protesters either. Oh, you want to say that Trudeau's the bad guy because he's enacting the Emergencies Act? Yep, sure, okay, but guess what? He didn't meet with the fucking truckers there either to try to come to an amicable solution by just simply dropping the fucking mandates, and the Conservative Party was all too willing under Erin O'Toole to just hold up all of those fucking restrictions as well, and then you had the opportunity. They were out there, the truckers were out there for 3 fucking weeks. You could have met with them at any point in fucking time, and you didn't do it. And then, yeah, Pierre just hops out there last night. Oh, we're gonna vote in the next couple of hours, eh? We're gonna be voting on this Emergencies Act, and as you can see here in the streets, there's nobody out here. Yeah, you could have done that 24 hours beforehand. You could have been lauded as a fucking hero, but no, you're just gonna use this for your own political gain, you worthless sack of monkey shit. Yeah, the Liberals are to blame for this. So are the NDP for just abdicating the working class, because they're supposed to be the party of the working class, right? They're supposed to be there to voice the concerns of the farmers and the dispossessed. That's what they used to be under what? Tommy Douglas, under Jack Layton, the last time that they were even remotely relevant. Now they're just a big enough party to manifest as the 3rd largest party and then just grant Justin Trudeau just enough votes in Parliament. You're just a little offshoot. You're just the orange tumor on the red political party that is the Liberal Party of Canada. Liberal in name only, tyrannical in practice. But yeah, hold them accountable. But so the Conservatives, you guys fucking rubber stamped all of this nonsense beforehand. Yeah, sure, you kicked out Aaron O'Toole out of the leadership, but you're still acting the exact same way. Oh, we support the truckers. Are you going to go out there and see them? God, no, they're too filthy and dirty, and they're all wearing coveralls, and we have such nice suits on. Fucking worthless. And the Bloc Québécois, there's like 6 of them there anyways, and they're like, we just want separation, eh? And it's like, that's nice. It's just, just stand off to the side for a minute. Motion passed with 185 MPs voting for it and 151 voting against it, purely along party lines. And this is the quality of a Liberal MP that's out there, literally making this a fucking argument in the House of Commons, by the way. This is the quality of our elected officials up here in Canada. A Liberal MP says, honk honk, okay, something that hasn't been relevant for weeks at this point because the injunction's been out there and nobody's left in Ottawa to be fucking honking anyways, other than just saying honk honk, I don't know, maybe in reference to the clown world that we find ourselves in right now, but no, that's code for Heil Hitler, because that's what your brain gets turned into on liberalism. Canadian Liberal MP Yara Sacklicker said that honk honk is code for Heil Hitler. While testifying in Parliament on Monday in defense of Trudeau invoking the Emergencies Act to crack down on Canadian freedom protesters. Could you imagine, with a straight face, in all sincerity, making this argument surrounded by the actual people, not just typing it away on Twitter? At least a little bit of props on this one, that you vocalized it and you didn't crack a smile. How many guns need to be seized? Oh, I don't know, more than just get planted there by the feds. How much more vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is the new acronym of Heil Hitler? Oh, okay, cool. Glad you had to point that out, you fucking weirdo. What do we need to see by these protesters on social media? How about you just turn off social media, okay? You wouldn't have your mind corrupted like that if you didn't spend all of your fucking waking time on Twitter, you weirdo. After receiving backlash for her outlandish remarks, Sachs embarrassingly defended her comments on Twitter by citing a thread in a self-proclaimed Antifa member named Gwen Snyder. Oh, okay, cool. So, you get your information from Antifa. Isn't that kind of like a mask-off moment for the Liberal Party, that they're openly citing Antifa members who they won't ever fight against? But remember, they're anti-fascists, right? They're bash the fash. Even though you just voted along with the rest of your party to enact some of the most tyrannical powers in all of the world right now. Fucking weird how that happens. That cognitive dissonance in action right there, huh? For those who say that honk honk is some innocuous joke, I'll leave this here, link to Antifa, you fucking weirdo. According to Snyder, I guess, it's easy to miss Nazi alt-right signifiers are if you aren't swimming in this cesspool all the time. Exactly. If you aren't completely and totally ideologically possessed, you might just think that jokes are funny, but no, jokes are serious. So this is going to be a running thread on what to watch for, with a special emphasis on vocabulary and symbolism that should make you suspicious. These are the people, okay, before we descend further into this madness, these are the people that the Liberal government, fucking link to them, okay, or retweet, whatever the fuck it is, okay? These are the people that the Liberal Party listens to. These are the people that they're pandering to. These aren't actual people. This isn't real life, but this is where they get all of their policy decision makers from, okay? These are the mentally fucking deficient people that they're pointing to and taking their marching orders from, taking their suggestions from. Let's start with the classic and the new variant. 88 and HH phrases like honk honk. Wait, what? What's 88 and what's HH? Okay, they mean Heil Hitler. Okay, 8 is the 8th letter of the alphabet, thus 88. Okay, what's the 88th letter of the alphabet? I jest. Honk honk is associated with the honkler and is often used ironically by alt-right trolls. Okay, once again, you're admitting that it's ironically. I'll just go ahead and ignore the scare quotes that you have there. If you think that it's ironically that they're using it and then you don't describe what honkler is, realize that you are a resident of fucking clown world, you weirdo. Writer Baitar Ungar Sargon slammed the clueless MP. Liberal elites hear Heil Hitler when workers rise up with their voices and demand the right to work on their own terms because it threatens elites' monopoly on power. So they project a fascist threat onto the victims of their own authoritarian overreach. Fucking based. And based on her profile picture, kind of cute. But now let's get into the nonsense here, okay? This is the lady who was trampled, okay? She was trampled by the horse, the Ontario, I think it was RCMP, or it really doesn't much matter. One of the horse patrol that was out there. She was the one who got her collarbone broken. We talked about it yesterday, but she's, it looks like she's out of hospital, which is great. And seeing a picture of her in the flesh, she looks exactly like the mother of one of my good friends growing up when I was in junior high school. It looks exactly like Patrick's mother. It's shocking, and if you knew Patrick's last name, it would give you an insight to my friend group at the time. But just know that, yeah, no, she looks a spitting image, by the way. So it was a little bit shocking to pull up this article. Anyways, Indigenous elder who was trampled during freedom protest crackdown says Trudeau can't be trusted. Well, it's not about trusting him anymore. He just has the power, so he doesn't need your trust anymore. He'll just take it from you. If you speak out against him, you're going to have to start worrying about your finances on this one, because they be going after everyone, okay? Canadian lawmaker claims single mom had bank account frozen after giving $50 to Freedom Convoy. This is where it starts, guys, because Trudeau, yep. Okay, it's passed through the House of Commons. You'd think it's going to get rubber stamped by the Senate. And even so, even right now, he still has the provisionary powers of the Emergencies Act at the ready. I mean, feel free. And he's exercising those powers at will right now. So it's only going to get worse from here. Canadian politician Mark Strahl on February 20th claimed that a single mom with a minimum wage job had her bank account frozen after she legally donated $50 to the Freedom Convoy. And by the way, minimum wage in Canada, I'm pretty sure across the entire country, I know it is in Alberta and Ontario for sure, it's $15 an hour. So don't think that she really had to scrape together some pennies to give to the truckers, okay, who would be making, at least the non-aggressive 6 digits if everything was all back to normal. But I'm sure there's also some pageantry being brought up in this as well. Strahl, a conservative, took to Twitter to criticize Justin Trudeau for his Emergencies Act, which is invoked for the first time. We know Brienne is a single mom from Chilliwack working a minimum wage job. Strahl, that's in BC, by the way, wrote on Twitter on February 20th, she gave $50 to the convoy when it was 100% legal. It's still theoretically legal, but you're having your shit seized, which is now all of a sudden legal for the government to do, pending further review. She hasn't participated in any other way. Her bank account has now been frozen. This is who Justin Trudeau is actually targeting with his Emergency Act orders. Yep, pray that it's just being frozen right now, than that it's not being seized and taken further than that. Anything's not being escalated on that one. Pray you're not going to get arrested and then held without bail, because that's what's happening, okay? Because her bail hearing, was yesterday. This is Tamara Lich. Last name is maybe a little bit too on the nose based on the picture, but whatever. She was one of the organizers of the Freedom Convoy, and yep, she got snatched up off the street, and her bail hearing was yesterday, and the judges decided, no, too much of a domestic terrorist, we're just going to hold her without bail for an indeterminate amount of time. What the fuck is going on here? An Ontario court has denied the bail of Tamara Lich, one of the key organizers of the Freedom Convoy protest that took place in Ottawa's downtown core, for opposing the mandates and the restrictions. An Ottawa court judge issued the decision on February 22nd after Lich said during a hearing that she would give up advocacy and protest to return to Alberta. Therefore, she's too much of a danger to be let go free. What? These are the rulings that are normally reserved for the most dangerous people in all of society, like rapists and mass murderers and truck drivers. Lich was arrested in Ottawa on February 17th and was charged with counseling to commit mischief. Very serious charge that definitely just can't be applied all willy-nilly. Appeared before an Ontario Court Justice, Julie Bourgeois. Again, these surnames are far too appropriate. In a bail hearing on February 19th, Bourgeoisie reserved her bail decision on Lich until today. earlier today, obviously. I cannot be reassured that if I release you into a community that you will not reoffend, that you will not counsel to commit mischief, that you will not conspire against our Lord and Savior, dear leader. Is that the foundation for these charges? Your detention is necessary for the protection and the safety of the public because God knows we can't have you out there in your trucks anymore. It's far too dangerous for you to be out in society. This is what's happening. And oh no, it's just happening to the organizers right now. Nothing bad could be happening about, seizing any of your private property. Okay, if you have trucks that are being towed in Ottawa or any of these other unlawful protests, that definitely won't be applied anywhere else. You know what? That is just this specific dangerous occurrence where how many people died? How many people were shot? How much violence was actually committed by the people that were out there protesting? It doesn't matter, okay? The government knows better what to do with the bank accounts that you personally own and your own personal equipment that they seize during this terrible emergency, because I look outside and I see nothing. But no, it's definitely an emergency, and the government needs to appropriate that stuff. And what are they going to be doing with it? Selling it for their own gain. Yup. Ottawa mayor says they can sell protest trucks using Emergencies Act. Freeland affirms that cities have certain powers. And all of those tracking, those funding provisions that were put in place by Chrystia Freeland. Oh, we can't be doing any crowdfunding. We can't be funding these terrorist organizations. Oh, but don't worry, this is just thanks to the evocation of the Emergencies Act. Well, they're going to be permanent now, so just in case you have any of those people out there thinking that cryptocurrency is going to be a way to secure the future, now it's going to be regulated by the government, and you know what happens whenever government interferes with anything, it just gets fucking ruined. So Bitcoin in Canada is just going to be regulated like the rest of these fucking basic bitch fiat currencies, and they're going to just be seized by the government for their own gain. So I don't know what's going to be happening in the future, but I'm not terribly optimistic. All right. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just hours after all of this was invoked. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says the Emergencies Act gives powers not only to the feds, but to municipalities and provinces. No, it doesn't. We read it, you fucking cunt. What it says is that basically the federal government has jurisdiction everywhere, and they have special powers to make anything that they want illegal and then seize and arrest anybody that they want to that is found to be acting against the newly enacted emergency, which requires specific definitions on jurisdiction and what it's going against, which hasn't actually been outlined yet. But it's an important emergency that needs specific unprecedented powers. All right. But this was just justification for Ottawa's mayor said 2 days earlier that he wanted the vehicles towed during police operations against protesters to be sold to cover the city's costs incurred by the protests over the past 3 weeks. So not only are they seizing, I'm freezing these assets that they're towing, okay? They're also just going to seize them, and then they're going to sell them, and then keep the profits. So it's just a civil asset forfeiture at a huge fucking scale. I talked about federal powers. There are also powers that lie with the municipalities and provinces, if we want to give them. Freeland said in response to a reporter's question on the 21st, held by Shit Dick and his fucking little lackeys, Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson told CBC on February 19th that the city has the power to sell vehicles due to the Emergency Act. Oh, sure. We actually have the power to confiscate those vehicles and sell them. Do you now? I want to see them sold. I don't want the return to these people who've been causing such frustration and angst in our community. It's a one-way street, you fucker. Dipshit also said the federal government will continue pursuing the Emergencies Act, even though protesters now have largely been cleared out of downtown Ottawa. No, not just largely. They've been successfully evacuated from the downtown core. But who supports these tyrannical measures? I know I'm railing against it. Pretty much anybody who understands the situation knows that this is one hell of a slippery slope, because based on what was the inciting action of evoking the Emergencies Act, which again hasn't been enacted since 1970, when fucking buildings were being blown up, when people were being assassinated. It's obviously just a one-for-one comparison, okay, to just Peterbilts and Macs being rolled into the downtown core of Ottawa? Perfect analogy. But who supports these actions? CBC, obviously the media, the bought and paid for media. They're just going to hype this up. Oh, finally, we just got rid of all of those evil insurrectionist types. And now we can treat them as such. We can treat them exactly like this is a January 6th event. And maybe people will just start clicking on our worthless, awful websites once again. Cool. You made your own fucking news. Hopefully it was worth it, you sacks of crap. But even down south, Democrats overwhelmingly approved Trudeau's crackdown on freedom protests and freezing of bank accounts. Why exactly are 65% say that they are in favor of Trudeau's crackdown, 17%, only 17% to disapprove of this? Because there's another protest rolling from California to Washington, D.C. They won't be allowed to set up in the nation's capital, okay? Because we know what Biden likes to do when it comes to just setting up the four walls around Capitol Hill, okay? I'm pretty sure he still has the fence with the razor wires on top, and it's only a couple of phone calls away for him to get the National Guard in there and then just start pushing these fucking trucks out of the way, okay? There won't be 3 weeks of grace. There won't be a total fucking media blackout, then a reversal of the situation, then a pillorying, and then an evocation of an Emergencies Act. It's going to be, this is unlawful, get the fuck out. Hopefully we just use the rubber bullets to start with. That's what's going to be happening. Again, the organizer, we got another nice lady here who's eventually going to get thrown in jail, like most of those January 6th protesters, which are still in jail right now. An overwhelming amount of them, the ones that haven't copped to a plea deal of aggressive trespassing, guys who actually committed more of a crime than anybody that was associated with the Freedom Convoy, especially Tamara Litch, who's going to be held in jail for who knows how long. She didn't do anything other than set up the convoy itself and work on the fundraising effort and maybe give a few interviews. She didn't do anything illegal until it was decided to be illegal. But until Trudeau just decided that, no, anybody speaking up against the government, we need to quash this down. I want to set the precedent that anytime anybody rises up against the government, we can just pull the lever and then guess what? Just roll out all the jackboots. So if you think that this convoy, which is apparently, there's reports that there's like 50,000 trucks on this one too. And if you guys think that it's going to roll into Washington, oh boy, no. Nope. They'll be stopped. If anybody does manage to get parked, they're going to be turned right the fuck back around and then chased right out of town. So thank God, I think like only Hawaii has a mask mandate left. Everybody else has started to fucking walk them back. So maybe too little, too late. Maybe Canada laid out the roadmap for the tyrants that are out there, and that's the one thing that Democrats can rally around, and they're just leftists worldwide. That's what they can rally around. Oh, getting rid of all of those evil working class types. But yeah, no, we're for the fight for 15 crowd, right? Yeah. Fuck off. But let's get to a little bit more misinformation, because we got, I guess, some kind of development in Russia and Ukraine. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of shit to parse out there as well. But that's the update on the Freedom Convoy. Freedom. That was the last time we're going to be able to use that when it comes to Canada for the foreseeable future. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.